G'day and welcome to another episode of Ian Smissen's Photography. This evening we're going to experience something quite special in Australia. We're going to get what's called a super blood blue moon. Now the blue moon part is just an accident of our calendar. It's not particularly astronomically significant. A blue moon is just where you get two full moons in the same calendar month. But the supermoon is where the moon is the closest point to the Earth during its orbit. And the blood moon is when you get a total lunar eclipse that turns bright red. So we're going to have a really good opportunity today to shoot a lunar eclipse. That is, if the weather holds out. So I'm doing some planning to work out the best place that I can go to shoot this. And I'm going to have a quick look on the web using a few websites that I commonly use to start planning these things. So let's have a look. The first place that I go to is a website called Cloud Free Night, which is cloud forecast for Australia and New Zealand. And you can get that by going to www.cloudfreenight.com. And you can see here I've got this set for 11 PM on Wednesday the 31st of January 2018, which is today. And the prediction is that right where I live down here on the Bellarine Peninsula south of Melbourne is going to be stuck in the middle of this red band. And the red indicates 90 to 100% cloud cover. So that's not going to be great for the start of the eclipse. And if we move forward by 3 hours to the expected end of the eclipse, it's going to be even worse. So at home, the prediction is that there won't be any viewing of the lunar eclipse. But if we go back again 3 hours to the start, you'll notice that this patch in the centre of Victoria, north of Melbourne, is going to stay blue, which indicates close to zero cloud, for the entire evening when the eclipse is occurring. So I'm going to go somewhere up here north of Melbourne. It's one of my favourite spots just north of Melbourne is a place called Hanging Rock. And so I'm going to switch over here to the photographer's ephemeris, and I've got the pin set for today at Hanging Rock, and you'll notice here that we've got, not surprisingly, the sunset and the moon rise occurring around the same time, obviously because it's a full moon, and they are in direct alignment, which is going to be the case whenever you've got a total lunar eclipse. But what I can see here is that from the road, Coach Road, just to the west of Hanging Rock, I'm going to get a pretty good view of the rock at sunset and with moonrise appearing behind it. So from this little laneway here, I should be able to get the moon rising just to the south of the rock, or walk up Coach Road to find a spot where the moon is going to peep over the rock after about half an hour to an hour after rising. So I might be able to get some nice shots of that. In order to get a better view of what that's going to look like, though, I'll switch over to Google Maps for the same area here. And if I just hold down the control key and pan here, you can see we get this three-dimensional view. And if I switch the 3D view here so that I can see down this little laneway, you can see that I'm going to be looking directly at the peak of Hanging Rock from there. So that's going to be a pretty good location to shoot the moon to start with. The Hanging Rock Reserve itself, though, is closed during the evening, so I won't be able to set up here for a later shot. So I'm going to have to find somewhere close by to shoot the moon later in the evening. But that looks like a good place to start. Of course, by the time I get there, things might change. You can't quite tell in this view what the trees are like along here and what the parking and so on is going to be along this little street. But we'll check that out when we get there. But there are obviously plenty of other locations out here to shoot from. And if we flip back to Cloud Free Night, that's right in here. And so it should be cloud free for the whole night. So that's the plan. I'm going to go out there this evening and see if I can get sunset and moonrise behind Hanging Rock, and then go and find a location to shoot the lunar eclipse. It might all fall apart depending on the weather predictions, but this website's usually pretty good at predicting where the clouds are going to be. So let's hope for a good evening, and I'll catch you when I'm out there. Bye.
Well, here we are at Hanging Rock. It's about 6:40, so that's an hour and a half or so before sunset and moonrise. But as you can see over the top of the rock, cloud. And I'm looking at mostly cloud. So I can take the risk and stay here and see what happens. I might end up with a good shot if the clouds break up in the west. I might end up with a good shot of the rock with a pinky sunset light on it, but I don't think I'm going to get much of the moon. So I'm going to head further north, and hopefully the clouds will break up there. So we keep on trying. Pretty place though. I must come here and do a shoot one day. So I'm here at the Heathcote Hospital helipad. If I spin around here, you can see the helipad there behind me. It's a high spot in Heathcote in central Victoria. This is the first spot I got to driving north, where the cloud had started to break up in the sky, and as you can see over behind me, the eastern sky is quite clear. So let's hope it stays that way. I'm going to head off and grab something to eat and then come back here and set up and wait for moonrise. See you soon. Well, the moon's just creeping over the mountain range of the national park in the east. I'll take a shot there. There is a fair amount of hazy cloud around. Hopefully that breaks up later in the evening, because at the moment we're not getting a good shot of the moon, but that might break up. All we can do is be here and wait. So it's just after 10 o'clock, so we've got about 45 minutes to go until the eclipse starts. I've just been taking some test shots here to make sure I've got the focus right. I'm currently using ISO 800 f8 at 1/400th of a second. But I'm going to have to change the exposure as the eclipse starts because the moon is going to get duller. Hopefully this cloud goes away. There's still a little bit of high level cloud, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Okay, we're a few minutes into the eclipse. Still got some little bits of hazy cloud, but getting some good shots. Well, that's it, 12:26. It's the full moon, super blood moon. It's not a blue moon anymore because it's now the 1st of February, but what a spectacular sight. Just running low on battery. Good reminder if you're out shooting all night, bring plenty of batteries, and because it's cold, keep them in your pockets close to your body. Batteries don't like cold. There we go, a nice warm one. Beautiful. Deserve something to eat. Bloody cold.